Alright everyone, up to date alright. I am knackered, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've just gone past Leeds, so by the time this goes out, I'll be another hour further doing the road. The sun has just come up, so I thought I'll do it now. Temperature's just gone up slightly, it's 4 degrees. We do have the dog, he is in the back behind us asleep. But as I make my way doing to Southampton, now obviously the video title will come on to that in a minute. But team news going into this weekend, Nick Pope is back. So Eddie Howe has a dilemma in goal. Do you stick with Martin Dubravka, who I think was still a little bit unfortunate to concede the amount of goals that he did last weekend, which none of them I think is his fault, but he's been in decent form, great with his feet? Or did you just bring Nick Pope straight back in? For me, you keep Dubravka in there because Newcastle have been in great form. I don't think he's done anything wrong. If you put Nick Pope straight back in, I think that sends a message out then to me. What's the point in loyalty and reward if a player's playing well? And also he's got a decision to make at the centre-backs now. That Botman looked very, very jaded last weekend. Fabian Schär was on the bench because of illness. So now you've got Byrne, who's been brilliant this season, Fabian Schär and Sven Botman to choose from. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes in terms of centre-backs. And then no news on Callum Wilson. Well, there is a bit of news. Callum Wilson will be early February. Nothing on Jamal Lascelles now at all, which I'm surprised at, because we haven't really heard anything from Lascelles. Obviously, Emil Kraft is back, as we know, but he'll probably just be lucky enough if he does get a place on the bench. So Harvey Barnes still has a couple of weeks off as well. So there's the team news. But obviously Newcastle were disrupted yesterday. They did manage to get Southampton. This is the reason why I'm driving down in the morning, not rather than through the night, because of the daft storm. So Newcastle were eventually getting into Southampton. I was a little bit worried that they wouldn't be able to get down there, but they did, thankfully, because there's no doubt about it if you're driving a coach in particular. And I feel for them fans today because they've got to do it there and back in one day. That's a long slog. And yes, I'm driving, I get tired from driving, blah, 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 but I'm staying an hour doing the videos, and I'm coming back tomorrow, driving back north for the last game, which you'll see on the channel. But Southampton, obviously opening day fixture, if you remember, if you start right at the beginning of the season, all the Premier League clubs are playing their first round fixture, carbon copy, whether you play at home and away. That'll be reversed. Newcastle back down to St Mary's. Obviously we won 1-0. The whole carry on of Fabian Schär and Diaz getting sent off play acting. He's now moved on away from the club because he's shite, let's be honest. Can't score a Premier League goal. So he's moved away, out on loan. And Newcastle were 0-0 at the time, and Joe Linton popped up and got the winner later on in that first half. Was it the first half? I'm sure it was first half. And Newcastle won 1-0. Yes, Southampton had a lot of the ball, but we had 10 men for about an hour. So there you go. But Southampton struggling massively. Newcastle were poor last weekend. Can't really ask for a better team to play, really. And now any Premier League game, blah, 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 all of that bollocks. But for me, I need to switch over at the M1 here. I'm going to do the A1 there. So for me, you're playing against a side that's got, 6 points this season. I mean, what else do you want to ask for? Yes, I know it's away from home, but however, you've just been battered 4-1, outplayed last weekend. And we're going to give you the team going to give you a team that got 6 points all season. You cannot ask for a better fixture. If Newcastle didn't win today, they've only got themselves to blame. They can't blame fatigue. I know Eddie Howe's mentioned fatigue, but I'm not having that this weekend. You're not having that excuse, especially when we've got another week free, and a week just gone, where the lads have had a little bit of time off and so on and so on. But yeah, let's go to the transfers then. We'll talk about the outs at the minute from the press conference. There's not ruling out Miguel Almiron leaving the club. Obviously, Luke Edwards has put out very late last night that Almiron Atlanta have agreed the fee. It's just basically personal terms from what it looks like. Hasn't ruled out anyone else, including the likes of Lloyd Kelly, but I think that'll be a little bit more difficult. I think Eddie Howe was hitting on it, and Martin Dubravka as well. I think it looks like he might stay. Eddie Howe was saying that talks have progressed. Come on, let me switch lanes, let these cars out. So there you go. But coming in, you might have seen this the last 48 hours, that Khusanov's, if I said that right, his agent, who he's the defender who's really highly thought of. He's went to Manchester City. Newcastle were in for him. Now, when you hear these agents speaking, saying you roll your eyes because you know what they're like. They'll name drop a few clubs, or they'll try and speculate that same as Newcastle's current players. Agents will speculate that they're heading out or they've been linked to this club or whatever. But his agent said that Newcastle were in for him. It's a shame because Newcastle, because of the financial fair play, couldn't sign the defender. So that question was put to Eddie Howe in the press. I'm sure you've seen it. And he admitted that yes, talks had with representatives about the defender. So Newcastle are willing. That tells me that Newcastle are willing to spend this January if the price is right. There's no doubt about it. They've got one eye on the summer to go, but larger rather. There's no doubt about it. We've got that money from Gahey, which we didn't spend. And yes, I know there's contractual money's gone up with a couple of contracts. I get that, but there should be still plenty of money. And then that 73 million from 3 years ago, from the rotated 3-year cycle of PSR and all that bollocks, will fall off. So Newcastle will have more money to spend. That sun's coming up bright now, like, isn't it? But Newcastle are willing to spend. That's what I'm trying to get at this January. If the price is right now, if Miggy does head out the door, if Newcastle are in the market for this talented defender, then there's money there to go and get that right winger for me. How much, I don't know, but you do run the risk of, I've said this last weekend, you run the risk if you rely on Murphy and if his form drops, then you're relying on playing Joe Linton over there, Harvey Barnes when he comes back, Anthony Gordon. You didn't want that. You really didn't. So go out and get the right winger. Or easier said than done. We don't know the facts behind the financial figures, but I'm down Southampton on my own. So I'll be bringing you a match vlog, and I'll be bringing you the last word inside the grunt. Southampton are a bit, you can't film there all the time, every time I come down here. So this is what we 7th or 8th time coming to St Mary's. Every time we get told off, we have to move off the ground. So it'll be across the road where the chippy van is. A big shout out to Raoul. He knows what I'm on about. But yes, we'll see you later on for all the videos. If you have a look out for the women's pod, which is coming out at midday too. But I love yous and leave yous, and I'll see you later on, everyone.